Okay, hi everyone, Dave here at East Rosebud Fly and Tackle in Billings, Montana. I apologize for the long hiatus since our last video, but it's been an extremely busy season here at the shop and a busy season for fly fishing. So hopefully we'll get things back on track. Today I'm going to tie you a fly that's been extremely popular here at the shop, both with fishermen and a fish. This is basically a soft hackle sunken ant. I'm going to be using two different colors of thread. I'm going to be using some UV Cure resin. Anytime I'm tying a lot of flies that require any type of adhesive, whether it's head cement, UV resin, Zap-A-Gap, I always build a little holder from styrofoam that allows me to do this one-handed, and it also prevents me from knocking the entire contents of the bottle on my work desk, which is no fun. I'm using a standard dry fly hook. You can use a nymph hook, anything you like. Ants come in a variety of colors and a variety of sizes. I've covered ant biology in previous videos. Just know that trout love ants. They're not the only ones. Back when I lived in the Midwest, we used to use a sunken ant to catch bluegill and other panfish with. So it's a very, very easy to tie and useful pattern. You can use it as a hopper dropper. You can use it under an indicator. This fly basically has a neutral buoyancy. It sinks very slowly. So it's been a great pattern here at the shop. I'm using polyester thread. I had just found that nylon thread like UTC tends to slip at inopportune moments, whereas the polyester thread like Veevus, Unithread, or if you have any of the Montana Fly Company thread, tends to be a little more stable when you're wrapping it. So again, dry fly hook, UV Cure. I'm going to be using some hen hackle. You can use any soft hackle that you have. Partridge, anything you want. I don't think the color is that important. I don't think the size is all that important. It's the movement that it entails. I'm using a hen cape feather simply because I can get several flies from one feather. So I start off with black thread. Get ready here. I'm going to kind of divide the hook into thirds. Rear third for the gaster, which is the big abdomen on an ant. Middle third for the soft hackle. The front third for the head and thorax. Now to tie this, I'm using a wide gap hook. Start your thread about over the hook point. Keep your thread very, very close to the tip of the bobbin and just roll your thread off of the bobbin tube. Come down the bend just a little bit. You can wrap thread until the cows come home, but I'm going to let the UV resin do the actual bodybuilding. Here I'm just providing a shape that I want the resin to cover, and the resin covers lots of little mistakes, so this does not have to be a masterpiece of thread wrapping. We're just trying to get that teardrop shape, the rear of the ant. Be careful as you come down to the sides that when you get some thread slip, and build it up in the middle. All right, now I'm going to tie this off, switch to red thread. My whip finish will serve the purpose as part of the thread base for my soft hackle tie-in. For the size 14 flies that I tie here for the shop, I've been using 6/0 thread. For the size 16 and smaller, I like to step the thread size down a little bit. The head of the fly, like I said, is actually the head and the thorax is not as big as the gaster. It's more barrel shaped. Come down here before the thread slips. The rest of the platform for our soft hackle tie-in. And I'm leaving the red thread connected. This is how I'll tie in the soft hackle. Now I'm using the Solarez colored resins and their large flashlight. If you haven't used their large flashlight, you really haven't used a torch yet. This puts out so much power you can feel the heat on your hands. So this cures very, very quickly. The black resin, and I've not used them all, I'm using black for the rear, is very, very viscous. For you attorneys out there, that means thick. You do not want to put on a real heavy layer or it'll start to droop on you. You just want to cover your thread wraps. It really will not stick to the hook. This is a self-leveling, so as long as you've covered your thread wraps, it does a great job of covering any little thread mistakes. And as I said earlier, I'm going to let the resin do the bodybuilding. We're going to put on a couple of coats. So this is fluorescent red for the head. They also make a red oxide, but it's not quite as bright. And again, this holder allows me to do this one-handed. Extend that body a little bit and just hit it for a couple of seconds. This light cures so fast. If you have a lesser light or torch, as they like to call it, it's probably going to take you a little longer to cure it. And we're going to put on a second thin coat on top, and you can continue to build this as big as you want with extra coats. Just make sure that you cover the entire base coat with any other coats for it to self-level. Sorry, I'll get my hands out of the way. Like that, and a second coat for the red. Of course, if you get any in the eye of the hook, make sure you remove that before you hit it with the light, or you will never get it out. A couple more seconds here with the light. Like that. Now in preparing your soft hackle, just cut off the marabou base end. Instead of stripping the hackle, simply cut it off close to the quill. Give yourself something that both you can hang on to and the thread can hang on to. I keep that base short so that when I tie it in, I don't have anything that I have to clip. Pinch it where you want it. One loop of thread will grab it, and as you see, I don't have any base that I need to clip there. Just a couple of wraps. All you're trying to imitate is 6 legs. You don't have to go crazy. I do start my wraps slightly back from the head portion. As you'll see, this is where I tie the hackle off. And again, with hen neck hackle, I can get several flies out of one hackle. So it's one thread wrap to tie off the base, one thread wrap through the middle to secure it, one thread wrap right behind the head. You always want to make sure you have your hackle secured. Quick whip finish right here behind the head. The red thread pretty much disappears with that red head area. There it is. Simple, quick to tie, extremely durable, and a good fish catcher. Anytime the sun's out, the ants are out, so keep some in your pocket. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.